Had difficulties right now. All right, I got it together now. Had a little technical difficulties. Um, really short on time now, but I get a couple points across. Um, I see last night, or I saw yesterday, that Tua came out and issued an apology to his teammates. As you know, after the game the other day, he threw three interceptions, but instead of talking about his play and what he could have done better, he decided to go on a rant about his teammates not showing up to meetings he's called. They either don't show or they come late. And what they did was cast a spotlight on what's really going on behind the scenes in Miami. When you have a quarterback or a captain that calls meetings and players don't show up or they're late, they're showing disrespect to whoever called that meeting. And if Tua, as the captain, is the meeting, calls a meeting, that's showing you that these guys don't have a whole lot of respect for Tua. Now, if it was a coach, I don't think this could be reversed. But as a player, he can go out and have one big game and win the graces of his teammates back. So it's not out of the question that Tua couldn't get back in the good graces of his teammates. According to the reports I read, he talked to the other leaders on the team and they talked about it. And I'm sure they let him know in no uncertain terms how wrong he was to air the dirty laundry of the team. And they seem to have gotten that on track. So the question is, how will the Dolphins perform when they play the Browns this weekend? And luckily for them, they're not playing one of the league's top teams because that's something that could snowball. Frankly, I'm surprised given that firing season for coaches has picked up lately that McDaniel is still in his position. Given that the Browns have struggled, and if they were to somehow lose this game, then I don't see McDaniel's lasting much longer after this. I know Tyreek Hill is hurt, and that plays a part in the effectiveness of the Dolphins' offense. But they got internal problems, and until they work that out, this is not going to last much longer. And what went down last week, I'm really surprised that McDaniel still has his job. You know, the Titans fired their coach. Penn State cut their player loose, coach loose. You know that Trent Dilfer, he finally lost his job at UAB, and it's just that time of the year, toward the middle of the later year, when they just started firing coaches. And McDaniel seems to me to be on the hit list. JC, how you doing, man? We got them Steelers tonight. They're going to Cincinnati, and the storyline there is Mike Tomlin made a comment the other day about Cleveland and Cincinnati making that internal division trade. He had a problem with that. He said you shouldn't be trying to help your rivals, or it used to be a time when you wouldn't help your rivals. But like I said before, all that stuff is out the window. Cleveland um, saw a need to get rid of a guy that they was going to get rid of anyway, and Cincinnati needed a quarterback right now because Browning, he wasn't getting the job done, and his play or presence on the field is causing this disruption with certain other players on the team, and that had to get fixed, or it's going to be big problems in Cincinnati. So Flacco, he's going to take on Tomlin tonight after Tomlin pretty much said that it's foul that these two teams would trade within a division. But as I stated yesterday, the loyalty only comes from the people on the outside fringes. The players, they don't give a damn. They're going to go wherever they can get a job. And just like I said about college, you know, when I started seeing former Florida Gator players transferring up to Georgia and Florida State Seminoles transferring into Florida, hell, what we arguing about on the streets about my team or my program when the players that actually playing the games don't care? What's the point? And I think it's very similar to that in the NFL now. That if a rival needs something, why not trade him? Um, if I'm trading a guy off my team, I know how to beat him. And Flacco, with his advanced age, he's not going to raise too much hell. And the Browns would know how to compete against a Flacco. So it's not hurting Cleveland at all to send him to Cincinnati. But what it does do is put Cincinnati in a position where they can possibly knock off Pittsburgh tonight. On these short weeks, anything is possible. And you don't have a full week to prepare. It's more or less get out there and play. And hopefully you get the assignments right because you've been cramming in information over the last couple of days and you're not going to remember everything. So there are opportunities all over the place. And Flacco, a few about Tomlin's comments, he might just come out and have a hell of a game. And like I said, Pittsburgh is not uncommon to losing games like this. Been watching them for over 40 years. So I know what they can do, or what they are capable of doing, and what they have done. So if Pittsburgh was to lose this game, I would not be shocked at all. But for the control of the division, they really need to win this game to tighten the screws on everybody else. They still have to play Baltimore twice. Well, Baltimore's not looking so good right now, but that still doesn't mean that the sight of the Steelers across the field over there won't get them excited and have them show up and play. So Pittsburgh is not out of the woods, no kind of way, and they have to take care of business tonight. So that'll be interesting. But as far as Tua goes, you can't throw your teammates under the bus. And as you hear all the pundits out there talking about the same thing. And based on what I've seen with these locker rooms, they're already tenuous at best anyway. It don't take much to throw off the chemistry of a locker room. And for the quarterback to come in and make those comments after throwing 3 interceptions and not saying anything about his play, that don't make him look too good. So he had to hurry up and issue apologies and patch up things behind the scenes. Otherwise, things could have got really bad in Miami. And that doesn't look too good for the coach, Mike McDaniels, who I think is one of the next ones to go, along with Stefanski in Cleveland and a couple of other ones they got to keep an eye on. All right, Pittsburgh shouldn't have a problem with Cincy tonight. Flacco isn't Burrow. Just pressure Flacco and he will be out of his flow. Well, again, he hadn't been with Cincinnati but a week now. So Pittsburgh doesn't know what kind of game plan they're going to come up with to attack them. So if Flacco can come out and get the team off to a good start and let them hang around a little bit, being at a short week that you can't fully prepare, this is a dangerous setup game for Pittsburgh. They got to take care of business tonight. And even though they should win, how many times we've seen teams lose that should win? Buffalo is a perfect example. They had no business losing New England. They had no business losing to Atlanta. But in doing so, they got exposed a little bit, and they got to go back to the drawing board. Otherwise, their season could spiral out of control. So it don't take much. But you're right. I think Pittsburgh should have no problem with Cincinnati if they show up to play. But the question, the word is if. Keyword is if they show up to play. And I'm hoping that they would. So I'm asking, will Flacco knock off the Steelers tonight? Most people said no, but a lot of people are on the fence about it. It's very, very close percentage-wise as to what's going to take place tonight. As I think about some of the comments about Tua, I like old Shannon Sharp. Have a lot of good commentary, but they made the comment that you shouldn't be throwing the comment under the bus, throwing the team under the bus. We're talking with Ocho, but as I listen to him talk, I don't think that some of these guys realize that there are people out there like myself with very long memories. And when I hear Sharp say that you shouldn't throw teammates under the bus, he's absolutely correct. But he seemed to forgot that he threw Elvis Gerback under the bus. He said, paraphrase what he said, if I can remember, he said that Elvis Gerback's supposed to be this and he's supposed to be that, but I hadn't seen any of that. And this is after Gerback threw like 3 or 4 interceptions in the game that they lost. So I don't know if he is pissed off about it. When he first started talking, kind of like with trepidation, but once he started talking, they let it all go. But evidently they patched it all up and they finished the season, even though they got beat in the playoffs. Gerback, he can't possibly think that things got any better after that with him and Sharp, even though they did patch up well enough to make it to the playoffs. But the fact that he threw the man under the bus and then now says that teammates should never do that, Cena forgot that that's what he did to Gerback. Said, man, this is not what we thought we were getting. And who is this guy? So got a long memory, man. And so you got to watch what you say because people do remember what you say. And he did say that. Gerback, we're not getting what we thought we were going to get. And who is this guy? Pretty much what he was saying. So looking forward to the night's game. Hopefully he can score a lot of points because I'm trying my hand with this parlay crap. And every damn time I try to pick something go wrong. Case in point, I had one the other night with Buffalo and the Falcons. So I tried to get slick. Instead of putting 8 or 9, I'm going to take 3. So I took 3 after halftime because it's kind of hard to put in a slip during the game because they keep changing the odds and they suspend the bet and you just can't get it in. If you get it at halftime, you can get it. So I took after halftime what's his name? Penix to rush for a half a yard. They come right out of the gate, throw the ball to Pitts. He gets 10 yards. All I need is 1 catch, right? Well, a couple series later, they hit Pitts on one of those little screen type plays. He catches the ball. He's got 2 blockers in front of him, but he stumbles and he ended up losing 2 yards. So I got the 2 catches. He had the 10 yards I needed the first time, but then he loses 2. And he ended up not getting any more catches the rest of the game. He didn't get any more catches the rest of the game because they started throwing the ball to Bijan Robinson. They're throwing it to him, giving it to him. It's like Bijan was the only damn player on the team. And that was great when this man is hot. But anytime that you got an advantage on somebody, you don't want to show everybody what you can do or what you will do in a clutch. In other words, yeah, you got away with it this time. But I know as a future opponent, when the game is on the line, where you're going with the football. Penix is looking for Bijan. He's going to get it to Bijan no matter what. The other players be damned, and that's going to end up costing them. So this is why I say, when you start looking into some of these bets and parlays, you start to get a feel for how these teams use these players, and it shows you how that's going to affect those teams down the line. So when I see Bijan getting the ball and handoff, they're throwing it to him in the flat. They're throwing it towards Bijan. When it comes down to the crunch, that's the same thing you're going to see from the Falcons. When they have to make a play, they're going to be looking for Bijan, and that's going to get stopped because they are telegraphing what they want to do. So they got away with it against Buffalo, but in the future moving forward, I told you about those defensive coordinators. They're like those homicide investigators. They never stop 24 hours looking at those tapes. And if I can see it watching live on TV and figure out what's going on, what do you think those defensive coordinators are going to figure out when they start clicking that tape back? Let me look at this situation. He did the same thing here. Back. Okay, we got him down. So when it comes down to it, we'll have him figured out. So, yeah, but I lost my little parlays. And Penix, he did the same damn thing. All he needed was a yard. Somehow he lost a yard. So I lost those 2 picks because both players ended up losing a yard. Now, some people out there, they can bet 10, 12 lines on a parlay and hit 30, 40,000. I can't even win $10. So I'm leave that alone, man. Break Phil, how you doing, man? Jamar Chase does worry me if he gets the ball. That's why I say pressure Flacco. Well, Chase, I'm starting to wonder about him. He looks like a classic front runner in some ways. For him to get upset with his coach because the quarterback wasn't playing well. I mean, what the hell do you expect the coach to do? All he can do is call a play. Knowing that the quarterback is struggling, all he can do is force the ball in the chase. And if I'm doubling you or playing you for a bad quarterback, it's going to be hard for you to get the ball. So for you to get upset and start pouting because you're not getting the damn ball, I'm starting to look at him sideways a little bit. But is he a dangerous player? Yeah, he is. All of them are dangerous. But what I like to do or like to see is the NFL take the training wheels off the defense and let the defense play. So all these prima donna receivers, they come running across the middle. They're not worried about getting hit because the players are worried about getting fines. So they pretty much letting the guys make contact with the ball before they try to make a play on it. And that's not football. You're sitting there watching them play, and you're not playing. You can easily put a hat on the guy and change the whole direction of the game. So what I like to see is the football go back to being football, and then we'll see just how great these guys who's supposed to be great, how well they really can play when they're under pressure. And you see when he's not getting the ball, he starts to crack up. So if you start putting the hat on him going across that middle, how good is Jamar Chase? How good is Justin Jefferson? How good is any of these guys? Can they take the hit? I don't think so. But they don't have to worry about it, so why worry about it? All right, Break Forever says Chase trade him to another team. For what? What they need to do is get a quarterback that can not get hurt. And like I told you guys before, the way the league is pointing to, it's going to be a flag football league in the next 25 years. And then another 10 years after that, it's going to be co-ed. NFL is going to be a co-ed flag football league. Hopefully, I'm wrong. And if it does happen, maybe it's 50, 60 years from now where I don't have to see it. But that's the way it's going, man. So I got a problem with it. Mr. Mulatto, what's going on? Well, they better show up tonight. That's all I know is that this is the kind of game Pittsburgh have lost in the past, a game that they really need. But I am seeing positive signs from them. They have a character that bodes well. The defense is causing a lot of turnovers. And when you're causing a lot of turnovers and doing it consistently, that is the character of that defense that's going to carry forward. And the weather is not bad. Once the weather turns bad and they're forcing these turnovers, then they're going to get even more because, it's kind of hard, a little hard to hold on to the ball when it's cold outside. So I'm looking forward to see how well they do. But like I say, Pittsburgh fortunes, it depends on can they run the ball well enough to play action and keep Rodgers standing upright. But offensively, the other problem that they have, you got Metcalf on one side. They don't have a true guy to complement him. I'm not liking this guy Austin. I'm worried about him. He don't seem to be somebody that I think they can fully trust in a crunch. But maybe I'm wrong. He's good enough to make the team, so maybe I'm wrong about him. But they flaring the ball to the back and they throwing it to the tight ends a lot. And I think they can explode their offense if they get more production from a guy like Austin. He can be the difference in how far Pittsburgh goes this year. If the defense keeps playing well and they keep scoring enough points, it's going to be a hard out to beat this team. Kansas City be damned. Don't even see Kansas City. So we'll see how that goes. All right, you have Aaron Rodgers. That's more than I can say about my Jets. Well, you had Aaron Rodgers, and the prevailing theme in New York was that he couldn't play anymore. All he did was get hurt. Just like Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. All he did was get hurt. He can still play. He's got to keep him upright. Hell, Burrow can still play. But if he gets hurt one more time, shit, if I'm the Bengals, I get rid of him. I mean, what good is he if he's only available half the time? Even when he hasn't been lost for the season, he's lost weeks during the season. So I think if you add up Burrow's complete missed time, he's missed over half the time he's been in the NFL. And that's not good. And he's making the money to convalesce. He's a professional convalescent is what Joe Burrow is. Sad to say, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, that horn went off, so it's about time for me to get up out of here. I asked a question, do you think Flacco would knock off the Steelers tonight, given what Tomlin said about he called foul that these two division rivals, the Browns and Bengals, would trade with each other. And he don't think that's a good idea. But maybe in the past it wasn't. But in today's world, when you have these vicious college rivals that go against each other every year and the players on those teams start to swap with each other inside the rivals, and hell, that's letting you know that it really don't mean nothing. You're getting all bent out of shape about something you can't control. And it's the same thing with Tomlin complaining about this trade. He knows how to compete against Flacco. He knows how to beat Flacco. He's too damn old and too slow. You just have to get to him and not let him get into the point where he's taking over the game, which he can if he gets a rhythm going. Any quarterback can kill you if they get a rhythm going. So you got to keep him out of rhythm. So it doesn't matter if it's Burrow or if it's Flacco or me. You can't let him get into a rhythm. Otherwise, you got a problem. And Flacco going to the Bengals, it doesn't bother the Browns because they know how to defend him. And it's just not a big deal. He's just saying something because he was asked a question and he gave you his first thought. but in reality, he knows it doesn't mean anything. So don't look too far into that. All right. No, wait, what? What you talking about, man? Um, I don't know what you mean break, but you always come on when it's time for me to get off, man. I got to go to work, man. I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. I was running a little late this morning. Maybe I can get on time tomorrow. Well, unless there's some breaking news, I'll catch you guys in the morning. Um, well, Flacco, he can still be dangerous. Any quarterback is dangerous if they got time to throw. But my theme is I never met a quarterback who can throw off their back. And if you put Flacco on his back or Rodgers, any other one, they can't beat you very much. Um, and that's just the way it is. But I think that Flacco is still dangerous to a certain point. But I'm waiting to see the fallout in Cleveland because in my heart, I just know Deshaun Watson is going to be taking snaps before the end of the season. I've been saying that for a while. Everything that's happening is leading toward that. And Shador, he's going to get his opportunity. I think if he doesn't start this week, he's going to show up in the game. If Gabriel's not doing anything, then he's going to get a chance to start. And he's going to do well at first. And after that, they're going to have film on him. Then they're going to stop that. Then that's going to open the door for Watson. Once he gets cleared, he's going to get a start. And once he gets a start, that's going to be the end of it because he's probably still the best quarterback that he had in that whole Cleveland locker room the whole time. There's nothing wrong with his arm, just his Achilles. And I got a few things to say about these Achilles, but I don't have time to get into it right now. But anyway, you guys have a great day. And again, this poll says 64% of you say that Flacco cannot knock the Steelers off. And I hope they're right. But again, this is the kind of game that Pittsburgh has lost in the past. So keep an eye on that tonight. But break, you, JC, you guys have a good day, Mr. Mulatto. Appreciate talking to you. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out, man. Damn kids on the way.